So I'm ready to go. Bradley and Inessa.
Morning, David.
Morning, Bradley. How are you?
I'm well, yourself?
I'm good, thank you. Morning, Inessa.
Good morning, David. Hello, Bradley. How are you guys?
Yes,
Good.
lovely.
All right, Bradley.
Are we the quickest?
Go, Inessa.
I was going to ask if we're the quickest one to click on the link that Leanne posted, because nobody else is here.
Oh, I don't know. I've been here 2 minutes already. So, Bradley, are you here for the whole class?
I am.
Great. I'm making you co-host.
Okay, you're only going to be here for a while?
No, I just want you to start to let people in and then to start to feel what it's like to facilitate a container using Zoom.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay. There we go. Well done. There you go.
Hey, morning, Mark.
Morning, Brad. How are you?
Awesome, yourself?
Good, thank you. How's David and Nessa?
Hello, hello. Hello, Mark.
Hi.
Okay, Bradley, so it's 8 o'clock in the UK, it's 10 o'clock in South Africa, it's 9 o'clock in the Netherlands. So the agreement is to start on the hour. So build the container for us.
Righto. I'll go first. This is Bradley checking in. I'm feeling quite hot this morning. I thought of opening the door, but where I sit, it's actually close to the road. So it's going to be a lot of noise. So I don't think I'll do that. I'll contain myself with this hotness. But I think I'm feeling a bit frazzled this morning. There's a lot happening, building up in a few weeks now. So I haven't got to the things I wanted to get to, but still quite excited. Okay, I see sister is coming in, and I am gonna tag Inessa.
So Inessa checking in, feeling also slightly frazzled, but I think because while Bradley's building up to what's happening, I'm trying to build down towards the end of the year. So yeah, so feeling, I would say, tired, probably more than frazzled. And I'm going to tag Sister Tsuma.
Good morning, everybody. I'm still sorting out my video. I'm happy to be back here. I've lost, I'm sure about 3 weeks or so because I had a problem with my phone. I'm checking in. I'm feeling excited, joyful, and happy to be back again. I lost my phone, so all the other video content I couldn't get access to. But I'll ask Mark from the clinic maybe to post me some videos so that I can read. I'm not sure who else is here. Let me just check.
Hey, sister. So it's still Leanne, and I see Kylene connecting now.
Okay, I'm taking Kylene.
Morning, guys. Kylene checking in, feeling calm and happy to be here. Very neutral today, this morning. I'm gonna tag who hasn't gone yet.
So I see this Liesel that just popped in now, and Leanne hasn't gone yet.
And Mark.
And Mark. Oh, sorry, Mark.
Mark, I'll tag you, Mark.
Sorry, I lost all my earpieces here. Mark checking in, feeling itchy today. This beard is driving me crazy, so sorry if I scratch in the class. But I'm checking grounded and happy. And I will take
There's Leanne and Liesel.
Liesel, yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hi, sorry, thank you. I'm sorry that I haven't been on this group for some time. I haven't been here. I've been quite busy, but I'm checking in with grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for being part of this group. So yeah, I'm checking in with gratitude.
So there's, hey, Liesel, you want to check this Del Rey or Leanne? Is Leanne still there? Yeah, I think Leanne is still. Del Rey, do you want to go so long? You want to check in quick?
Hi, I'm Del Rey, grateful recovering alcoholic addict, and I've got some mixed feelings today. I'm feeling a little bit like low, and I don't really know why, but yeah, just grateful to be here. Thank you.
How's it, guys? I'm checking in. Yeah, sorry, I've got 17 things going on. I'm just trying to settle. Is David in?
Yeah.
David is here, yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm battling to get a proper connection, but I'm checking in. Yeah, feeling a little overwhelmed still this week. I've got barking dogs.
Okay, then I think, Leanne, you're done checking in? Okay.
Yeah, I said I'm checking in grateful. I've checked in, yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks. And then David, it's just over to you to check in.
Great. So, David checking in, looking forward to this class. I was here 5 minutes early, setting things up. So just so you know, this is being streamed and recorded for educational purposes. It's going to an unlisted link. If at any time people feel uncomfortable and want the recording deleted, more than happy to do that. But it's all part of our certification and professionalism of this recovery coaching training. So who's been here for 10 weeks now? That'll be Bradley, Anessa, Mark, Kayleen, Sister Tuma. I think that's correct, huh?
Yeah.
No, for Sister Chuma, I've missed some weeks.
Yes, you might have missed them, but you started 10 weeks ago.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're halfway through, whether you like it or not. Yeah? Okay,
David?
great.
Sorry, David, you just want to turn your volume up a bit.
Oh, okay, hang on. Is that better?
Here we go.
Okay, yeah. So yes, so welcome to you guys for being halfway through 10 weeks. And for the people that have just started, it's a 20-week training. And basically that 20 weeks is broken up into 4 weeks, which is the conversation, the continuum, the system, the 4Q model, and then building the container. And Bradley started this morning building the container. Yep, so he's holding the Zoom room, he's let people in, he's held the space, and he's getting a bit of practice around the process of holding a container. Yep. The second thing is that we use coaching the whole time to go through the material. So we're constantly practicing coaching in an adult learning environment, and we are rolling. Yep. So the agenda always comes from the client. So Delray, you joined us last week, yes? Or was it that? Yeah. Okay, so this is your second class, and you were a house mother for an organization, so you've got some experience of working in the field. Yep, and you're wanting to learn about coaching to improve your skill set and to help develop you as a professional, so you can take your personal lived experience and show up in a professional way. Is that correct?
It's correct, David.
Great, cool. Okay, so welcome to week 2. The most important outcome of the first session is for the client to come back for the second session. So well done. We've done something right. Yep. Ilse, have you been on the call before? Have I met you before?
Ilse,
Yeah.
Liesel.
Oh, sorry, Liesel. I'm dyslexic, so I'm all over the place. Sorry, Liesel.
I've been following your videos though, the hubris in leadership and all of those things. I work at a service center where we cater for homeless, and most of them is coming from a drug addictive background. I've been a heroin addict for 19 years, and I am 2.5 years clean. So I work with these people on a daily basis, like recovering addicts, and not all of them has made the decision to want to change. They still need that motivation to can make the change. That pre-contemplation, contemplation phase, they're going through that type of thing. So I feel this is something that can assist the client more. Me being equipped can assist the client more. So it's more client focused and client centered. The reason why I'm doing this, as well as for myself, because I am a recovering addict. So whatever I learn, I first take it for myself, and then I reach out to the clients as well.
All right. And is this your first class?
This is my first recovery coaching class. I've been through the peer recovery specialist training, Nikki.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. And so I'm assuming you're in Cape Town.
Yes, I'm in Cape Town.
Okay, and whereabouts is the center that you're working at?
I work at the Parow Center of Hope.
Parow.
Parow area. Parow, Kudu, Kalbo.
Okay, cool. And what are people presenting with? Heroin and tuk?
Heroin, tuk, alcohol, mostly alcohol.
Oh,
because
okay.
of the, but in tuk as well, buttons, all of the above. Any substance that they can escape, use to escape the reality, they use it, go for it. Glue.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come along. And I really hope that this helps you to in your career going forward in building external recovery capital, as well as developing your own internal recovery capital.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Welcome. Welcome. All right.
Thank you.
So just some housekeeping stuff for everyone. Leanne and I have been working on an app and moving the content onto another platform, which is going to be a lot easier for everyone. So stick around. In a couple of weeks, you should get a nice Christmas present that hopefully will make your life easier in going through the material, and to bring clarity to the role of a certified professional recovery coach and an environment to foster that. Yeah. Leanne, would you like to add anything? No. Okay. Great. All right. So halfway through the training, yep. So we would have covered the conversation, the continuums, and now we're into the system. So let's talk about the system of recovery. and the system of a culture of addiction. And let's talk about education systems as well. Okay, so where should we start? Kayleen, there we go. Wonderful. And we're off.
So I'm just recapping sort of what you said last week, David, which is that the system is really what's broken for a lot of people, whether that be their family system or the system that they have sort of in their social circle, or there's lots of different environments where the system can be broken for them. And I think when we talk about the school system, what comes to mind first is how there's a lot of fear mongering, and substances are sort of described as, you know, the worst thing ever. It's going to ruin your life, and it's almost like it's more like stay away because we tell you to, not stay away because of XYZ. Like it's a lot of just stay away. So that doesn't actually get into the depths of what leads to this.
Just hang on. Liesl, please will you switch off your microphone? There's terrible feedback coming through the system. Thanks. Sorry, Kayleen.
No worries. So I guess it's we didn't learn much at school about what leads people to use substances. Everyone has their own story and their own reason, and what leads someone to fall into a culture of addiction. It's more just this big evil thing, stay away, and that's not. I don't find that a very constructive way to get kids to not be curious about something.
Okay, so let's go out and tell kids to take drugs.
No, we have to find the middle ground there.
So why don't we go and tell kids to take drugs?
That's a very good question. I mean, just in terms of like, I think that there's a lot the container can do with this question. And
I'm being very provocative. Yep. And
very good question.
And next in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be starting to talk about the leadership model, the 4Q model. And one of the things is political intelligence. And if we go out and start to tell the world, yes, just tell kids to take drugs, politically, it will rock the system radically. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so let's just talk about quickly what the problem is. Yep, so the typical, okay, go for it, Mark.
So I just wanted to say on that note, I think as society, we don't necessarily tell kids they should go out and do drugs, but kids are being or not self-diagnosed, they're being diagnosed from such a young age with ADHD, bipolar, and they're given like strong medications and benzos from a young age, and parents seem to be quite open to it. So it almost feels like the culture of addiction is being sort of fed into the system from a young age to cope with, like, I don't know, things that when I was a kid, my mother was like, pull yourself right, otherwise I will pull you right. It wasn't this, okay, I'll take you to a psychiatrist because you can't concentrate and medicate you. And now it seems like in society, it's acceptable to medicate children from a young age without calling it giving them drugs, which literally is.
Okay, so we do tell kids to take drugs. All right, and Mark, your mother's approach was pull yourself right and fucked you up, yeah, and you find yourself in rehab.
Yeah, I know. So maybe I should have been medicated early on.
Okay, so that's one of the narratives that get justified for or used for medicating children. Yep. Like if we don't do this now, then they're going to be using illicit substances to cope. Yep. Also, we have an environment where kids look at their adults to see how the adults are behaving. And a lot of adult behavior is in a culture of addiction. Would my esteemed colleagues here agree with me? You just need to go for a dop and a chop around the braai. Bradley, you got your hand up. Oh, shit. Sorry. Was there any homework from last week? Was there any accountability? Bradley, why didn't you remind me when you're meant to be holding this container?
I'm glad you brought it up yourself there, David.
Oh, well done. Touche. Was there any homework from last week?
Just help me out here, but I think Leanne left us with a question.
So Delray was nodding
know.
and Vanessa was nodding. So let's go with Delray.
It was, what am I trying to achieve with regards to my needs, wants, and values?
Okay. And did you do your homework?
I did a little bit. I didn't go in depth. I find it very difficult with this one because it's almost like I look at them individually, but I think the needs and the values kind of go together, but my needs are current and my values are long-term for now because I'm still trying to develop a new value system.
Okay.
Or go with the right thing. And then my wants for right now is just wanting to give back,
Okay.
basically, and to help me stay accountable. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Cool. Vanessa, you had your hand up as well? No?
No, it was Bradley.
Oh, was it Bradley?
Yeah. So mine was actually, I'll come back to Delray. Thank you for sharing there with a question. I actually just went through on the previous one that we had on Mox thing where the kids are being medicated at a young age, and David, you touched on it when you said, but they actually see how their parents model coping. And I think that's where it stems from. So most of the time is the kids look at their parents, and however the parents are modeling the way they're coping is the kids are going to find it acceptable in coping in that way, mechanism as well. And I think you touched on it when you said that a lot of it is dope in a chop. If that's what we're showing our children, that's how we cope, that's how we spend our time, then it makes it hard for us to teach them a value that's different to that, whether it be if they go into substance abuse or what the choices are that they make. I think on the question for what is my values, needs and wants, sure. I think it's in that is the modeling to my kids on wellness daily. Because I don't want them only to hear what I speak, but they need to see me acting it out. And I think in that way is the same with the people that I'm surrounded by. It's exactly the same thing, is that when I'm helping you, coaching you through something, you need to know that what I'm coaching you through is exactly what you see me walking out as well. And I think that's just when Delray was speaking about you kind of the value, the need, and the one aligns with one another. I think that's how it is for me.
Okay. All right, so I'm feeling a bit like, oh shit, I've been catching up the homework and we were going deep in a topic. So if it's all right, I'm going to continue with the topic, if that's all right. Yeah, around the system, around the education system and kids growing up. Liesel. Is it Liesel? I'm so used to Z being there, and then I'm getting the L and the I muddled up and this. Okay, so Liesel mentioned pre-contemplation and contemplation, which is part of the stages of change model. And kids growing up, they go from kind of childhood where they're part of a family and they get identity from that. And then when they get into teenagehood, they start to fight for their own identity. And they start to go off and do their own experimenting. And their parents are like, oh, fuck, what do you know, mum? What do you know, dad? Oh, yeah. Would you agree with me on that? Yeah. Teenagers in general, they kind of like their parents are stupid and then they go off. And then they'll behave in a way that they want their parents to kind of think that they're doing well, but behind closed doors, they're behaving in a different way. Do you agree with me on that one? Yeah. Okay. So I think on reflection, kids go off and experiment with substances and things like that because it's part of the growing up process. Like lots of kids will go off and get drunk and use alcohol. And that is kind of, particularly in South African society, that is sort of acceptable in a way that kids go off and get pissed. Mark, you got your hand up?
I think Del Rey her hand was up first. But I'll just say from my experience, you know, my parents like sheltered me my whole youth up until my teenage years. I wasn't allowed to do anything, go to birthday parties or do anything, and there also wasn't any like alcohol. They didn't excessively drink or give me any signs that pointed towards, you know, numbing whatever was going on for me. But I love what you said about, you know, when I went into my teenagers and I started to realize that my identity was not aligned with who I really was. You know, I was pretending to be straight and I had all this confusion in my head. And, you know, when my parents sort of kicked me out the house because they couldn't accept the fact that I was gay. And I was starting to go out and party, etc. The minute I found that substance, that it just gave me that, like I can relax, and it numbed, you know, everything that I was going through. I remember the first time I got high and I thought, wow, I can't believe that my whole life I've been taught that drugs are bad. When my first experience of drug it was almost like this empowering, wonderful medication or solution to all the internal struggles I was going through. It really took it away. And I distinctly remember thinking, how can people say that this is such a bad thing when, you know, but obviously I was at the beginning of my process and I didn't have the negative consequences that were going with.
It was a wonderful thing, Mark.
It was beautiful.
Absolutely wonderful thing. And then and that needs to be celebrated. It's kind of like a rites of passage, an experience that really blows the mind. The challenge is when the consequences start to happen and people start to deteriorate, where normal, healthy children, for want of a better word, they decide, you know what, these consequences aren't worth it anymore, and they naturally grow out of it. Whereas other people, for whatever reasons, continue that search for that, oh my God, this is fantastic. So personally, I was very much like you. When I first got Charuk on Dacha, marijuana for any of our international people that are watching, I couldn't believe the lies that people were telling me. I just thought, you know, these parents are talking cock. They just don't want us to have fun. And then that my journey started because it was a solution for my teenage anxiety, angst. It gave me identity, meaning, purpose, all that sort of stuff. It gave me an identity that I could relate to. And then that identity, I ended up turning into the archetypical heroin addict, you know, the junkie that sits on the street with a needle in his arm. That's the role that I took on and that I ended up identifying. Then when I came into recovery, that identity gets completely shattered, and it's who am I now without this substance? And recovery at that stage is incredibly traumatic. So Mark, you've had it, you've come into recovery as a gay crystal meth party guy, party girl, party person, whatever whatever you want to kind of identify with. And it's like, oh fuck, who am I now? and you're going through the process of discovering who you are. You've got your teeth fixed, you're doing pole dancing, you're celebrating your sexual preference in an authentic, transparent way, and you're really like exploring. So just on the sexual side of things, how many people realized when they were heterosexual?
Well, so that's a question I asked, so often people will say, oh, when did you realize you were gay?
Mark, you're gay. This question isn't for you. This is for those. This is for the burden of the straight people that had to come out and say, oh, fuck, you know what? I'm straight.
Okay, please, I'd love to hear.
Oh, sorry, Del Rey, I see your hand is still up.
No, she can't put it down. That's.
Oh, okay. I'll
No,
put it
I
down.
can. No, I want to just comment on the actual the system that we're talking about, but let's first finish your question, David.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how to even answer that because I suppose you need to explore before you make a decision. But I mean, I grew up in a Christian home, so going that way wasn't an option for me, and I've just always preferred
Going that way.
Sorry, I don't know how to say.
No. Say this stuff. You must say that because this is one of the reasons a lot of people use. Yeah. So in a heteronormative society, somebody that's kind of homosexual, there will be additional psychological pressure for that person. Yeah. And that person might fucking use drugs to fucking hang with his people or their people. Which is exactly what Mark did. Growing up, he kind of realized, shit, I don't like straight people. I fucking fancy a bloke, or men or whatever, And to embrace his sexual orientation has been additional work. Okay, so now we're getting into the diversity side of things. You've got the church system that has been, your words, Del Rey, were, I grew up in this home, like I didn't even have, like that was, that's, and these are the sort of challenges we have systemically that feed into a culture of addiction. Does that make sense? Okay. Mark, over to you.
Me, so no, I just wanted to say that what I find interesting is whenever someone does ask me though, when did you realize you're gay? I always flip the question back and say, well, when did you realize you're straight? I think some people that ask me have the delusion that, oh, one day on the 4th of January, 1996, I just woke up and decided, oh, I think I'll be gay today, But yeah, like you say, it's a scale for me, like two sides to it. As hard as it was to accept and embrace my sexual identity, and the struggle of trying to live have a dysfunctional family that say they accept it, but they don't necessarily embrace it, or etc. It was a very cathartic experience for me because it's the one thing that I have in my life that was like a turning point for where I had an authenticity come into my life. It was a full-time job trying to pretend to be straight. I mean, I had the voice changed and I had to watch how do I hold my hands. I can't do this because in those days they used to think that, gay people did this. So I was I'm constantly on a daily basis. I was like, oh gosh, now I've got to go and find a girl and I've got to now hold her hand and kiss her and try not to pull my face in, like, never mind do
Mate,
anything
I just
else.
want to cry for you. I want to give you a big hug.
It's traumatic.
It is fucking traumatic.
I used to, as a kid, I used to have this nightmare that I would be like standing at the end of the aisle, and here's this woman coming towards me in her dress, and then when they say, "You may kiss the bride," I had this thing in my head that I was going to kiss her and go, and then everyone would be like, "Oh, you're gay." Yeah. Never mind carry her over the threshold and all of those things. That would have been even more of a nightmare, I'm sure, for me.
How's the container feeling? What's the feeling in the container, Bradley? If you were to read the room.
I see 3 hands up there. I think the first thing I'm actually thinking right now, Mark, is that it
What's
would
the
have been
feeling in the
interesting.
room, Bradley? What's the feeling in the container?
I don't know. I'd like to hear what I see. There's 3 hands up, so I'd like to hear what Del Rey, Inessa, and Liesl have to say.
Okay. So my sense is there's kind of care and compassion in the container. Yeah, there's a humanity in the container. Cool. All right. So who do we want to hear from?
So I think Inessa's hand went up. Unless Del Rey, is there still something you want to share? Your hand is still up.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to sorry, I also feel like the atmosphere in the container is quite comfortable, and understanding and supportive. I think that's what I'm seeing. But on like Kayleen brought up a really, it was a really good topic in the beginning, and I've forgotten half of what I was gonna say because it was a while ago now. But basically, I think there's so many different aspects to look at because, say, for instance, my son, he went to a school where they educated them on things, So I do believe that the kids need the educate. He's 16 now, and they need to know enough so that they aren't too curious to go out there. Because some people either like just everything, and it's the generations, like in our family, like everything got swept under the carpet. So we just didn't discuss anything, And I'm the youngest out of 3 girls, Lart Lomaki, and I was the one that went out and got drunk all the time, which was acceptable in the 90s, but like it's not acceptable now because those were just party days for me. So my son has so say my stepson is 29, my son's 16. So say my stepson kind of looked at his dad, who got clean in 2011 already anyway, and looked at me and the dysfunction. And he didn't have the education on it, or he didn't like learn about addiction or anything, but he frowned upon it and he just completely turned his back on it. Whereas my son also, he says he will never pick up a drug or a drink or smoke or anything. But he's been educated on the stuff, and we've been open with him, to a certain extent, on what's been going on. And he's seen it, he's grown up in it. So yeah, I just think it's a very broad topic.
It's very broad. We're very, very, very broad. Okay, Inessa?
So I see a narrative, and the narrative that I'm seeing emerging has actually been started by Esther, our first or second meeting that we had. And that is that she started talking about the sense of belonging that she discovered after she tried drugs and drinking and so on. And I heard Mark kind of saying that as well. He said that that you try these things and suddenly you find this, that everybody's been lying to you all along, and you find this almost, I'm rephrasing, our community of people that you can do this and you can belong to, and the same with sexuality and so on. So I'm kind of seeing that narrative emerging and reflecting onto that. I think I would make a bold statement in saying that the belonging is one of the biggest needs in society at the moment, because there's so much broken, families and all sorts of things. So the kids, if we don't build a container, if you want to use it that way, for our children, whether it's our family or the children in our community, they're going to go and look for that container. They're going to go look for that sense of belonging.
Yeah, that's true. Liesel? I'm going to switch off the video. It's breaking up there. Try again, Liesel.
Okay. What I get out of
There we
the
go.
how I can relate to Mark is that I feel also as if my value system was being oppressed when I was young. One of the reasons why I went to addiction, because I was supposed to be this person. Everybody in my family, society, the school, they all had this type of narrative of how I should be. And when I started using drugs, I kind of found my identity, as you said earlier. I found I can be free. I found a confidence I value. I value now, when I look back, I see actually I valued confidence. I valued authenticity, to be myself, to be me, to be open, to be free. That sense of belonging, I valued that as well. But most of the things that was attacked in my childhood was my own value system. And I feel also now that it's my beliefs about myself was also challenged, because I had to be the certain person in front of people where I was dying inside to be me. So there wasn't that authenticity. I couldn't explore my own values because I had to adapt to the way that the way the school was, how my parents viewed me. If there was problems in the house, I didn't want to add on to that problems, because I didn't want to be the one that also brings problems into the house. So I was dying. There was no me. I adopted so many other personalities, and I got lost. I was lost in translation. So I valued the authenticity. So when I grow up now, my value system was extremely damaged. So that is what I get out of the share, how the systems of schools, the system of the family, the system of how the community works, all of that had an impact on my value system. When I started using drugs, so I felt there was a freedom for me to can be myself, and that confidence that I had.
Okay. And Liesel, how did the legacy of apartheid impact you and your family?
The legacy of apartheid, I didn't even think of apartheid back then. I was a child. I knew my mom and my dad used to speak about how apartheid impacted them, and I didn't pay much attention to that, because it was nearing the end of apartheid. I was born in '86. Apartheid ended in 1994, and I was just at primary school at that time. So they had accounts of what happened during apartheid, but I didn't much feel apartheid up until I didn't feel just the accounts of apartheid. I was a child. I didn't take note at that time. My father was an alcoholic, so all I could see was his drinking and my mother suffering under him. His oppression of her, and I didn't want to be the one that added on to that pain and that hurt. So I kind of acted like this rescue. I was a rescuer when I was a child already. I was trying to rescue my mommy by trying to be a good daughter, a good child that doesn't add on to her hurt and to her pain. And I was lost in that translation. I was lost.
Oh, you made me want to burst into tears. The overachieving good little girl alcoholism runs through any family, regardless of the demographics. Sister Chuma, you had your hand up? Thank you.
Yeah. I had my hand up. I just wanted to to comment on the system of addiction, especially in teenagers. I realized that children at school, most of them, that sense of belonging is affecting them a lot because they would want to fit into a certain group and find that if they are to fit in that certain group, they need to do something that group is doing. Like especially they have to smoke, they have to drink alcohol, or they have to engage into some sexual behaviors. So it actually affecting the teenagers a lot because they need to belong to a certain group. And in so doing, they start experimenting on getting drunk, on smoking dagga, crack cocaine, and everything else. And in the long run, they're getting addicted, and they won't know that they are getting addicted because initially their first use or their initial use, they'll feel high, they'll feel, they're okay, there's nothing wrong with them. But at the end of the day, they're becoming addicts and they're becoming aggressive at home, the home environment. Maybe the parents won't pick up that my child is starting to do this. But the school system and the parenting system has to come together and pick up those behaviors.
Exactly.
And start doing something at the earliest age before it gets into like addiction, So that's wanted to
Sorry,
comment about.
sister. Guys, please will you turn off your microphones when you're not speaking? There's terrible, I don't know, something on the line. It's hectic on my side. Please just turn off your mics when you're not speaking.
Carry on, sister.
Okay, so I was saying that the system that is available now, the home system, how we model our children, we need to pick up those small behaviors at an early age because teenagers or children at school, they start getting into groups at the early age of around 12 years, 13 years. They start using substances that can harm them like in future. So parents, teachers or educators at school, they need to pick those small behaviors that children display at school. Like maybe you can pick that this child intellectually is dropping or is not concentrating at school,
Are you a mother?
and then we help them at an early age.
Do you have children, sister?
Yeah, I do. I have 2 girls.
And how old are they? Look how your face smiles when you talk about your daughters. How old are they?
Oh, the other one is 21. She's doing a 3rd year at UZ in Zim. And then the other one is 8.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you're from Zim, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, a nurse from Zim.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I was talking to also a nurse from Zimbabwe whose son is over here in London. Yep.
Okay.
And
yeah.
he's gotten himself into the kind of the gangster rapper lifestyle, that like, and I was talking to her about her son. And then she said to me, I didn't bring him up like this. This isn't how we brought him up. And I just had to laugh at the in living that kind of gangster lifestyle, that hip hop lifestyle and everything. And then his childhood and the way that he would have been brought up would have been so kind of removed from that kind of American gangster kind of lifestyle, but he's taken on this persona here in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I did one of the days, I think my child, the eldest daughter, she was around 18.
Yeah.
I made an experiment and maybe take 1 or 2 glasses of alcohol, so that what I wanted for her is she shouldn't drink behind my back. if she's drinking, she has to show it so that I also monitor it and do everything, you know. So I said, here is alcohol, drink if you want to drink. She took one glass, she couldn't finish the second glass, and they said, oh, this is, no, I can't do this, I can't do it. I said, yes, you can do it, but please don't drink behind my back, because when you're drinking behind my back, you do things under the influence of alcohol and things that you're going to regret later in life. If you are to drink, let it be a social drink, you're done, and then you go and enjoy outside with your friends. So I think maybe we shouldn't like say, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that. But, you know, you have to have a way to let them know that if I drink a lot, this is what is going to happen to me. But if I drink maybe socially with friends and then we stop there, I think that's okay.
Cool. All right. Thank you. Bradley, you got your hand up?
Yes, David. I'm just listening to everyone speaking, especially with Liesl and Mark, is that the biggest thing about it is that identity and belonging as children. And then we as parents put in a value system for them. But if we think nicely about it, we don't actually, we've got the value system, but they don't understand fully that value system. And when they slightly deviate from the value system, then we get hard on them, the do's, the don'ts, the don'ts, the don'ts. But we don't really take them through that whole feeling and what's going to happen and take them through the whole experience of why it's our value system. I'm thinking now we just don't know as our kids, because my eldest son, with him, I was an alcoholic. I was drinking. And with my youngest, my three younger ones, they don't know me in that way. But him, out of his own, said because of what he saw in me, he would never, ever do that. And he hasn't done it. And he's 21 years old now. So we just don't know what the choices are going to be of our children. But I think we need to journey with our kids, as well as we're journeying with as coaching for others. We need to actually coach and be journeying with our kids as well.
Right. Take a breath, everyone. Now just think about what you've learned today in the first hour about coaching and the system. And what's been activated inside you personally. We'll do that for 10 minutes and then we'll take a break. Who wants to go first? There we go. We'll go Anessa, then we'll go Delray.
I think what's been activated in me is realization how values that later on become norms in our lives, how they affect and influence our children and people around us without us realizing. And something that came up quite strongly in my heart just now also is that when we talk about belonging, the flip side of it is isolation. And those things kind of creep up unawares, because we can make an effort to belong and let's join this and let's join that or do that. But isolation, things like COVID, things like it's not safe anymore for my children to play outside, things like digital environment, they creep up unawares and creates isolation. Then we're looking for a sense of belonging by connecting through substances or through people through substances. And this changes my whole approach with coaching to the degree that I need to look beyond. It's not just, I mean, it's never really somebody who goes out to get drunk for the sake of getting drunk, but let's see beyond what is more systematic or systemic influence here.
Right. And Delray.
Thanks. I just wanted to like say that I think growing up I wasn't equipped with with what I should have. You know, like I should have like been equipped with these things. You know, I should have been sat down and spoken to. And I think that's my big thing, is that I want to equip Kian going forward, because I just want him to be in the know. And I think all children growing up just need to be a little more, you know, the communication needs to be there, and they need to be equipped by the adults. specifically us that have gone through it ourselves.
Who's next? Mark.
Yes, so I'm not a parent. I don't know what it's like to have children, so I can't at all talk for what parents should do or shouldn't do. But what it brings up in me is that I think no matter what my parents did, whether they were free with me to experience things or they educated me, the sort of lifestyle that being a gay man, was, it is a very sexual environment. It's like there's a lot of sex, there's a lot of drugs. I don't think it would have been something I could avoid. And I do remember when I first started to go out and experience things, I did have an attitude of, oh, I will never do drugs. I mean, I never got drunk and stuff like that. But it almost feels like it was unavoidable. The minute I went through my first breakup and he was using, then I wanted to get back with him. So I decided to use a little bit with him. So I don't know. I feel like in some systems, some things are unavoidable. Even though I had the knowledge of what drugs could do and how bad they were, I still succumbed to the experience. And unfortunately, I was not lucky enough to just be what do you call it? A casual, like a casual user once in a while. I went into full-blown addiction. So yeah, I don't know if educating is going to be enough. I think I like Sister Chima's idea that, sort of introducing her child to it and saying, listen, do it in front of me only, is maybe somewhat coming to the party or trying to manage it a little bit better. Instead of like my parents was like, we will not do this, we will not do that, dude. Well, I don't even know what I was really allowed to do. So
Okay, thanks, Mark. Who's next?
Thanks.
And Liesel, just so you know, we just what have we learned in the past hour? And then we're going to take a quick break. So who wants to go next? Kayleen.
So what really stood out for me personally, David, was when you said how, you said to Mark, yes, that was wonderful. That was something to be celebrated, that feeling of belonging, that feeling of connection, the first time when you try a specific substance with a specific group of people. I think that's something that I hadn't really thought about in that way before, where I think that when someone comes in and they're in a culture of addiction, what they've known until that point is pretty much, I do this in secret, this is bad, this is not allowed, nothing about this can be celebrated. But I think I really liked how you reframed that and said, well, the space that they get to know then, that a person gets to know when coming into a coaching space or a culture of recovery, is that there are so many things to be celebrated at the same time. Yeah, I'm kind of losing my train of thought, but I hope that makes sense. Like it's that really stood out for me. It's no longer nothing has to be done in hiding anymore. Things can be spoken about openly, and I think that's a change to the culture that the person has known until that point.
Cool. Next. Sister Chuma, you go next.
I think what I'm taking from the hour that we started up to now is that we should take our children through the journey of the values and the norms that we want them to just follow or live through, so that at least they are also empowered and know the pros and cons of addiction, so that in life they can make better choices and also avoid the do's and don'ts. Because the moment you say don't do this to a child, don't do that to a child, we would like to experiment on that don't. If you say don't smoke, then you go on to smoke because you want to see what is like to smoke. But if you just educate them, and give them the necessary information that they need I think it will help us a lot as parents.
The forbidden fruit's the sweetest, huh? Liesel, what have you learned this past hour? You're muted. There we go.
I like the question you asked, Mark. You asked the question, according to Mark, when did we find out that we are heterosexual? I like that question. It kind of gave me a bit more insight. It's like I shouldn't, not I shouldn't, there's no word of I shouldn't or I mustn't or this is not right or that is right. I need to listen to my child. I need to explore what my child's values are. I need to start listening more to them than to putting my ideologies on them or having them be who I want them to be, but listen to them, give them that love and belonging, not expect them to be a certain way. So that question that you asked, Mark, about that you asked us, when did we find out that we are heterosexual? Society said I must be heterosexual. I didn't decide I should be heterosexual. Society said that. And I went with that because that's the way society was molding and shaping me, not listening to me, but is what I needed to be at that time. So this session has made it more clear to me that I should listen more to the person I'm speaking to instead of telling them not to do this or not to do that. Let's explore, why do you think this is wrong, or what do you expect the outcome to be? What do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? That is what I got out of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Who hasn't been? Anessa, did you go? Yeah? Was that everyone? All right, so let's take a 10-minute break and come back at 9 minutes past, 10 past. Does that work for everyone? Cool. See you all in a bit. If you guys want to hang up and come back in 10 minutes to save bandwidth, you're more than welcome to do that too.
Okay, Sebulina mali siyakhona ngale Cape Town. Umlungu lowo uzoliholela malini njalo liyahlala isikhathi esingakanani likhona ngale? Liyahlala isikhathi inkinga yokuthi wena wayekela i-passport yakho ya-overstay. You were supposed ukuthi ama-days engakapheli ucela imali sikunika imali because
Somebody's
ukuhambisa i-passport
microphone's
ekhaya.
on and we can hear your conversation.
Are we back? Bradley, over to you, mate. Build the container.
Okay, Bradley checking in. I see we're just waiting on a few people, but we'll go ahead so long. Bradley checking in. I've been sitting here actually for the 10 minutes, just thinking about everything we've been speaking about. And I think it's just leaving me open-minded and looking forward to what's in store for the next 50 minutes. I am going to tag Kylene. I see you next here in line.
Healing, checking in, feeling grounded and positive. I'm going to tag Mark.
Mark checking in, connected and grounded. I think that's all that's available for the current time.
Vanessa?
I think I heard my name, right? So I'm checking in, feeling focused and motivated, and I'm going to tag Leanne.
Hi, yeah, interesting conversation today. Checking in, feeling grounded. I can't really see on my phone who's
Sister Chuma?
Sister Chuma.
Sister, you there? Are you looking for the unmute? There we go.
I'm back.
Good. All right. Okay. So mapping it back to the theory quickly, which you guys will go off and do this week as homework around the system, is to understand the systemic coaching model. Kylene, did you check in? Yeah, okay. All right, sorry. So the systemic model is basically the coach sits in the center of crisis, chaos, and conflict and builds a relationship with the person that's got substance use disorder, a relationship with the environment that the person is coming from, a relationship with the family. Yep. So if we were to take a school pupil, for example, you might have a relationship with the pupil. You'll have to understand the schooling environment that they're coming from and understand the family environment that they're coming from. So that's part of the system. And there's a relationship between the person that's got the substance use disorder, the school environment, between the person with substance use disorder and the family environment. And then there's a relationship between the family and the school environment. In this case, as we're talking about teenagers and the youth. Yep. So we understand that kids are going to go and take drugs based on the society that they live in, and there's a whole lot of benefits for that. So you can't really go and tell the child the consequences of their behavior because they don't have any consequences. Yep, they're fresh. Like Mark, when he first used it, it's like, oh, fuck, I've arrived. Let's party. Yeah. And to tell someone not to do that is going to be very, very difficult. Yep. What Sister Chuma did is sat down with her daughter and said, okay, you're going to drink in front of me. And that's how she worked it out, the relationship with her daughter and in her family. Yep. And different people will do different things. Yep, based on environment, culture, whatever. Okay. So a good way to look at in these sort of interventions is where there's a split in the system, where the system isn't working on the solution, where the system is blaming. So you'll often get a parent in a school saying The teachers must stop my kid from hanging out with those kids. Those are the bad kids. You must kick those kids out of the school. And then the parents and the teachers start fighting amongst themselves. Make sense? In communities, it's like, the police must come and lock people up. Yeah, must arrest those people. And then the families descend on the police station. I've seen that a lot in Eldorado Park in Johannesburg, where the families are we're going to go murder the police because the police aren't doing their jobs. And then the police are bound by laws and human rights and all these sort of things. They can't just go and arrest kids and put kids in jail because, like, you know, but there's such frustration in the community that they then project that. Whereas if they were working together in a more dignified, humanized way, as opposed to a punitive punishment way, we get much better outcomes. Yeah. And hence, like the World the World Health Organization back in 2016 have started advocating for the dismantling of the war on drugs, that doesn't work. It's a human rights violation because the majority of people are suffering from that, the war on drugs, as opposed to benefiting. So not only does it impact the people that are using, but it promotes crime, it promotes human trafficking, it puts women in jail for trafficking, they're abandoning their children, the kids aren't getting looked after. There's a whole lot of other issues that are happening that aren't benefiting anyone. Yeah. So the recommendation from the World Health Organization is recovery systems of care or recovery communities of care. And this is where a good way where coaching comes and steps in to influence the culture to create recovery capital for people when they choose to enter into that environment. So what we need to be teaching kids, can you hear me, by the way? Yeah. What we need to be teaching kids is, hey, kid, when you do something, please look after yourself. And if you get into trouble, this is how you access help. And to make the conversation, to bring it out into the open. Right, I can tell I'm foaming at my mouth. So I've obviously gotten on my soapbox and my kokorozashi is bubbling away here. Let's go move over to Mark, the pole dancer.
So when you were talking about relationships and the systems and stuff, I think the one other relationship that needs to really be like unpacked and looked at is the relationship with the substance itself. Yesterday I was at a meeting, an AA meeting, and the person sharing referred to their alcohol as their friend. They actually painted this picture of it actually being a living, breathing entity in their life that when the doctor said, you know, you've got 6 months to live, he was distraught at the fact that he had to end this relationship with his friend. And I mean, I thought on my addiction and it's really something I have to mourn. I have to mourn the loss of something that, although brought a lot of chaos and dysfunction in my life, was also at the same time something that never failed to be of service to me in some way. You know, now I have to find healthy alternatives, which is, yes, it's great. I know I've really I've not let the comment, but it is like you have to literally cut something out of your life that's never didn't work, you know, for some purpose.
You had to cut something out of your life that really did work.
Yeah, it did really work. You know,
And then
I mean,
it's working.
what do you mean?
Well, it's like it's exactly like an abusive relationship. You
Mm.
know, you fall in love with a person. Oh, I'll be able to change them. It's going to work out. I don't believe what anyone's saying to me. I'm going to be able to love them enough. They'll change. I can make them change. And then boom, bang, you're getting fucked up. And then it's like, oh my God, right? Let me try and leave. And then you try and leave. And then the loneliness sets in. And then there's the remorse and I'll never do it again. Come back to me. And then you come back. And then there's the makeup sex and all that part. And then the relationship becomes an abusive cycle. And that happens in heterosexual relationships, that happens in homosexual relationships, bisexual relationships. It happens in relationships that do not involve substances at all. Yeah. And it's the loneliness and depression that sets in afterwards. So when you do put down the substance or the behavior or whatever it is, there is a huge grieving process that happens. Yeah, which the world doesn't understand.
Definitely.
Which then leads into even more isolation. Mark, why don't you just leave him?
Well, I have.
Why did you go back to him?
Sure. Because I was never willing to leave him before, to be honest.
I get the movie. I get the movie, and I'm just trying to you know, like there's no such thing as an addict per se. Yeah, everyone's an addict. Anyone can get caught in an addictive behavior, which is fantastic in the beginning and becomes a nightmare. And then you continue that behavior in spite of the negative consequences. My girlfriend every fucking morning wakes up, lights a cigarette and goes, oh, I've got to give these up, babe. I mean, like, for fuck's sakes. You know, people get caught in these kind of relationships and things that, you know, my latest thing is work. Well, it's not my latest thing. It's I just saw Leanne's frown.
Yeah.
You just lied there
So
terribly. David Singh has always been his work.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing though. What it does do is when the consequences of it are bad. So for example, I ignore my kids. I get so obsessed with work and changing the world and it really fucking just caught. And then I just thought, the fuck, okay. So I phoned my daughter this morning and I had a half an hour chat with her. You know, just me and so I made a conscious effort to try and reach out and connect with her. Because I'm so caught up in my work. And Telray, would you like to check in? Welcome back, love. Videos on, mutes off.
I said, I apologize. I was stuck at the gate because there's nobody here and there was somebody there. I'm feeling like the first hour was really good. I've probably missed, I'm sorry, like 15 minutes now already.
It's all right.
But I'm feeling a lot better than what I did when I checked in at 10. Thank you.
So how were you feeling when you checked in at 10?
I said I had mixed emotions and I felt like low and I wasn't sure like really why. And
so you moved. Your energy
it's shifted, but in like it's weird because it shifted when we were talking about the children and stuff, and I had time to think about Kian and stuff now, and yeah, it's just shifted into a more positive space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of emotional for you, yeah?
It was, yeah. I switched off my video.
Yeah, I saw you had some strong feelings there. What was going on? Are they still strong?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
whenever, when it comes to my child. Yeah, I've done so much damage.
So you're carrying a lot still, huh?
Yeah, like Bradley said, he's oldest one, he's seen him, but the other three haven't.
Okay.
I kind of when my ex,
What feeling are you feeling right now, Delray?
oh, it's just guilt,
Guilt.
just guilt
Okay.
and shame
So,
still. Yeah.
so who's angry with you?
Sorry,
Who's angry with you?
who's angry with me?
Yeah.
No one, which makes it even worse.
Oh, okay. So you're feeling guilty, but nobody's making you feel guilty.
No,
Okay, so it's not guilt, then it's shame.
we're not shame. Yeah, shame.
Yeah, okay. So you got a lot of shame about your behavior as a mother.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of, are you okay to talk about this?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah? Okay, good. All right. So first of all, and I really want to kind of keep it sacred as well, but also like just to bring a recovery coaching perspective to it as well. Yeah. All right. How long have you been in recovery?
I relapsed in December after 14 months. So it's only almost.
Okay,
Yeah.
so December 14 months plus what's that, 10, almost 12. So 26 months you've been in recovery.
Oh, no. I've been in recovery since 2013.
Oh, okay, so 11 years.
I was keen for a couple of years and then I relapsed, and then it was just like, yeah, on off, on off, on off. And then this
Okay,
last
so
stint
11
was my
years
longest.
you've been kind of using in a culture of recovery.
Sorry?
You've been using in a culture of recovery.
Yeah, because it was on and off from 2017.
Yeah, so it was on and off, but you were kind of aware that there were resources, but you didn't make use of them.
Yeah.
Whereas in a culture of addiction, you're in denial and you don't know about that stuff. Hey, Liesel,
Right.
welcome back. Do you want to check in quickly?
Let me switch my thingy off.
No, stay there, Dora. Liesel?
I can't see her.
Yeah, okay. We can't hear you, Liesel, but it's great that you're back. I hope you can hear us. Okay, so Dora, you're carrying all this shame. You've been carrying this shame. How old is your son?
16.
16. And when was he born?
2008.
2008. So the first 3 years, yep, you were what?
No, yeah, the first 3 years I was very present because Dad was balls to the wall, so he was out all the time, but then he got clean in 2012 or 13. So I think the shame lies there where because I had to deal with resentment towards my ex because
Okay.
he didn't see
now we're angry.
he didn't see Michael in that state, but he was old enough to see me drunk and high and
Okay. And how do you feel about that?
I've worked through that resentment with my ex, but I still feel shameful, and I think it's because Kian's he's an old soul, so he takes a lot on himself, and he doesn't blame me for anything because he said he knows that it's a disease.
Okay, so your son's fine with it. Okay. So the hard part is that you're not fine with it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my story with you a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that is just to bring safety to the container and safety to you, because I'm just trying to work out how to navigate this. Yeah. So I had a realization that me being in shame around my past with my kids wasn't helpful for them. And when I would respond from that shame, it wasn't helpful for them in their relationship. So I've had to learn how to kind of accept that and to respond in a way that isn't coming from the shame space. Yeah, I've had to, like, I'm really kind of angry with myself that I did this. I betrayed myself. I fucked up good and proper. And I need to kind of move on from that place because that's the best way for me personally, but also to model recovery for my kids. Liesel, are you there now?
Yeah.
Would you like
Yes,
to
I
would you like to check in very quickly?
am. Still grateful. Still grateful. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right. Don't forget to mute it. Just thank you. All right. Delray, let's go back to you.
Sorry, what did you say, David?
I said, let's go back to you.
Yeah.
All right. How are you doing now?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Are you sure? You don't look okay. You look overwhelmed.
I know all of this is necessary, you know, and also like I know I have to forgive myself.
You have to forgive yourself. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What's the advantage of forgiving yourself?
Well, you know, I won't be feeling the guilt and the shame anymore, and my relationship would be better with Kian because I'd be more confident as a mom.
Oh, okay. And what's the benefit of not forgiving yourself?
There are none.
Well, I mean, it reminds you of where you don't want to go back to.
Yeah, but I also I hide behind that, you know.
Oh, what are you hiding?
No, I'm saying I hide behind it. So you know, my son already knows that I'll phone him on a good day, you know, but if I'm having a bad day, I won't. Yeah, just
What's a bad day and what's a good day?
Sure.
There's
A
nice
good
smile.
day. If we go back to when I spoke about the you know, the wants and stuff and wanting to help others, and you know, I sometimes question myself if it's for, you know, for the right cause, because it's actually helping me. So a good day is being productive and serving and helping others. And that's where I find my worth.
So why are you crying?
Because it's overwhelming. I'm
Okay.
just, yeah.
What's overwhelming? Help me understand.
Just how I've been helped in the past.
Oh. So the amount of help.
Yeah, how I should be paying it forward. Yeah.
People have been nice to you.
Yeah.
Fuck, I so relate. My level 1 listening's going off here completely. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How am I doing? Am I respecting you? You feeling respected here?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I kind of want to switch off now and you can go to the next person.
Yeah, no. Well, before that, I'd just like to stretch you a little bit more. Yeah, because shame is like a childlike emotion. Yeah. Anger, sadness, fear, and joy are adult type emotions. Okay, for want of a, and shame attaches itself to one of those four emotions. So I feel shame that I got angry. I feel shame that I burst into tears. I feel shame that I'm scared. I feel shame that I'm happy and nobody else is. There's so much, yeah, there's like, yeah, that sort of stuff. So what feeling does your shame attach itself to?
I'm angry, but it's all directed at myself.
Okay, cool. So if you were to listen to the anger, and the gift of anger is boundaries, what is it that you need to do?
Because I think ultimately I have to forgive myself. I don't know. I don't know what. This has been a huge stumbling block for me.
Okay. So I've chosen not to forgive myself for my kids turning out to be born addicted to crack and heroin, being taken away and put into foster care, and to have my rights as a father taken away by the courts. I've chosen not to forgive myself for that. That was fucking terrible of me that happened. However, I'm not responding from a place of shame around it. The shame is there, and if I talk too much about it, I can go into deep sadness. So I'm talking about this, and I'm quite kind of boundarized here, but I promise you I could drop down into that very painful, horrible place. But I'm holding on here and keeping my head up high, and it took me fucking 15 years just to get to this place. Yeah. So and I'm just saying that because it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
For me, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And I'm pleased it hasn't happened overnight, but I also need to move from it. Does that make sense? Okay. Because I'll tell you why. Yeah. If you don't put in those boundaries, other people are going to come and live off that shame. You're going to find yourself overperforming in organizations, helping other people and being abused and being taken advantage of it within the system.
That's exactly what happened, and I think that's why I do it. Yeah.
And that doesn't
overcompensate. Yeah.
It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve the organization. It doesn't serve the people we want to help. It doesn't serve your kids. It doesn't serve. It's a dysfunctional behavior. It's in the continuum of codependence.
Yeah.
Oh, I can feel my warriors quite strong here. Some days I'm good at practicing it. Other days I'm terrible. But how are you feeling now, Delray? And then I'll go to Liesl.
I'm okay. Thank you, David. From what you've said, yeah, I do feel better.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Liesl?
Thank you.
I can relate, Taurey. I can relate to you. My kid is currently also in foster care. I also picked up landing in foster care, and I was working as a field worker, and I was helping so many people, but I couldn't help myself, and I had to take like a moment away. It's because also I didn't forgive myself. I had to take a moment away from helping others because they were actually taking advantage of me, and my life wasn't going forward. I wasn't mending my relationship with my son, even though I knew he was there. I was being taken advantage of by the system. You come back to me now next year on condition I find a school. However, I can help everybody else, but the person that I'm so scared to help is myself. And sometimes we must allow ourselves to go there. That emotions that we're so scared of, that is naturally ours. We need to just overcome it. I just had to deal with it. I I had to deal with was that I had to ask him forgiveness. And even if he didn't forgive me, I still had to do the next right thing. When I need to move forward, I couldn't sit there and allow the situation to be the way it was. And it's something that I created because of my addiction. I needed to go there to that uncomfortable feelings, and I needed to deal with it. And I'm still overcoming it. I'm not there 100%, but at least I'm not there where I used to be. I'm growing, I'm growing more in touch with myself, more in touch with who I am, and my son and I have a better relationship now. Well, not really. I don't say we have a better relationship, but I know it's gonna get better, man. I know it will get better as long as I'm not using drugs and I'm working towards getting myself better, learning and discovering who I am, and learning and discovering my own temperaments, how I deal with things and manage things. It's still a work in progress, but it's a work that has to be done. If I allow that shame to every time take control, then I'm not gonna do. I'm not. It's gonna cripple me. It's gonna cripple my progress. It's gonna cripple me going forward. So I understand where you are at. Sometimes I also go into that shame and guilt things, shame and guilt feelings sometimes when other things happen. It's nothing to do with my son, but then I bring it back to him. It's almost like if something happens at work, and then I'll start downing myself or having this negative talk, and then I'm like, you know what? No, you are. Then I have to change the script. I have to change the script and say, but you are doing well. You are going forward. What have you accomplished so far? And what is the relationship with you and your son like now? And I have a daughter also that was taken away from me in hospital because I was a drugged up mother and I didn't book, and my mom died and my dad died. And she was also taken away from me from hospital. And people thought I sold her. They thought I actually sold my own daughter because that is the type of person I was when I was on drugs. But I'm changed now, so I don't think my guilt or the shame or unforgiveness for myself is encouraging me to do this. I just what I want, what is better for myself, man. But I do relate to you, but to keep ourselves stuck in shame and guilt is just gonna cripple us and not allow us to move forward. No, that's it.
Thank you, Liesel. It's fucking brave of you. What a robust container we've got holding here. And there's fatigue setting in, huh? It's like, oh, fuck, this is getting, oh, yeah. So I just want to acknowledge that as well. Mark, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I've heard Delray and Liesel both use the word, saying that they want to be able to forgive themselves. Especially coming to the foundation here, I came to realize that with regards to spiritual principles, forgiveness is not really, it's not a principle, it's more an ideal. It's something we would like to have or like to do, but it's not something we can actually do necessarily. It's more what I've come to what's more important for me in the recovery process is like what you're saying around honesty and the acceptance of what I've done wrong, and the awareness and being open and willing enough to have a different experience in recovery as opposed to inactive. So I think for my own journey, and I think something that I would take into coaching with clients that really want to focus on forgiveness more so, I think I would want the client to rather be more accepting of themselves and where they're at, and using that as a reminder, like you said, David, of where they are or were, and using that as a reference of where they want to go in the continuum, as opposed to making forgiveness the primary element of the journey. I don't know if that resonates or works.
Okay. So let's just pause there for a second. Yeah. And let's all kind of like come out of this spell. Yeah. And let's go back to like the art of coaching and how I interacted with Delray as a coach to assist her in moving in this space. What did I do with that impromptu coaching? We'll go for Kayleen, who's kind of doing an undercover laugh, yawn there.
Yeah, it was a yawn.
Yeah.
I think it's the heat. I saw how you challenged Delray in a very kind, compassionate way, where you asked some questions back and said, well, sort of, what's the worst that can happen, or like sort of pushing it a little bit and saying and challenging Delray to put certain things into words, which it can be quite difficult at times. And then once you say it out loud, it becomes a little bit, sometimes it feels a little bit more manageable. At least that's been the case for me in my own therapy.
I was championing, like pushing forward.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you. What else do people notice? Are you okay with this, Delray? If we do like this is a coaching training, yes? It's not group therapy, but it might be therapeutic being in the training. Bradley?
Yeah, from my side, I think the one thing that I took is where Delray actually said, you know what, let's take the focus off me. And you said, okay, can I just stretch you a little bit more? And I think that sometimes is something we need to be very, very attentive to. Sometimes the person will say, okay, I think that and then we might shut and say, okay, cool, that was a great time we spent now. But then that little stretch is where they actually find that breakthrough. They're going to tap into something that they really didn't want to go to.
Okay, so you're doing 10 push-ups at gym, and then your coach goes 9, 9, 9, 9, 10. Yeah. So just stretch. Okay, great. Liesel, we'll go Liesel and then Mark.
I heard you ask, am I respecting you?
Okay.
You kind of affirmed that you are listening and are you respecting her? That is what I noticed by your line of questioning. Besides pushing her, you asked her, can you go a little further? Are you respecting her?
Right. So just checking, being client driven as well, pushing, but also just checking, is this stretch okay? Great stuff. Mark? Thanks, Liesel. You're muted, Mark.
I was going to say the same thing as Liesel. I liked how you checked in to find out from Delray how you were doing. It's like establishing that rapport. And then also what I loved is how you brought, without, you brought an element of your story into the coaching without like going to like hectic details, just to like ensure the safety of the content and make it feel comfortable that you also can relate to an extent.
Okay, so I shared a bit of my lived experience in service of the client to model that it can be done and what I've learned from it and how responding from a different place, could actually model something for, okay, this is how I need to behave in this type of environment. Okay, cool. Sister?
Okay, I also like the idea of you checking on the client, like what Kaylin and Mark said. Like you checked on the client, but you didn't forget the agenda, the core agenda of the client. You always went back and you listened and you pushed, and those small challenging questions made your client to open up, so that also you understand more on why she's feeling shameful. And initially she was saying she's feeling angry, but the more you push, the more you question her, she realized that it's not anger, but it's shame. So I like the way you were holding your session and coaching.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you, Delray. and thank you everyone that's kind of contributed. Let's start the checkout.
I think David Inessa has a hand up there.
Where?
Inessa had a hand
I
up.
did, but that's okay. I did, but that's okay. I'm happy
Oh,
to
did
check out.
Inessa? I never saw. Sorry, go for it, Inessa.
Oh,
Let's
that's
hear
okay.
your wisdom quickly.
All right. Yeah, so I also just really enjoyed how you went deeper from taking it from guilt to shame to like self-discovery of how do you actually identify what you're feeling. So that was very helpful, but also how you establish the relationships, like how does what you're doing affects your relationship. So you've checked up on those things and get a bigger picture, as well as trying to get a clarification. What's a good day for you? What's a bad day for you? So it was really helpful questions.
Okay, good. All right. And one last thing is when Delray started to have some strong emotions, I acknowledged them, but I didn't get lost in them. Yeah. Like, I mean, she was talking about some big fucking stuff there. Yeah, and I had a lot of like, but it's like, okay, well, we got this. You know, I managed myself around it. I hope I did a good job there, Delray. Yeah. As opposed to think, oh, fucking hell, I've got this goal on the line. How do I do this? It's like, cool, we got this. This is fun. This is contained. Okay. So Delray, thank you very much for going live there. I thought that was really beneficial for the container. Hopefully it was good for you as well. Yeah, thank you everyone for dancing with the process around this. I've certainly enjoyed class. Your homework this week is to understand the system more. Yeah. And Bradley, well done for holding the container. Would you take us on the checkout, please? Checkout with joy.
Great, thanks, David. I'll check out, and I think I just want to reiterate what David says there. Thanks, Delray, for your openness, and to Liesl for opening up on your first time here, and we hope to see you again next week. So Bradley, checking out, feeling relational. I am gonna tag Mark. Mark, you like just on my screen here, it's a center page here. So I'll tag you.
Okay, thanks, Bradley. I'm checking out with joy and I'm inspired. And yeah, I will tag Kayleen.
Aileen checking out with joy and grateful for the experience and for everyone's openness and willingness to share and all your beautiful stories that we get to be a part of once a week. I'm going to tag Anessa.
Anessa checking out, feeling grounded and peaceful, and I'm going to tag Delray.
You, Delray. I'm checking out, just feeling grateful for all the insights and all the, just everyone's comments and stuff, because I do like mentally make notes of it, and sometimes I jot it down as well. So I'm just grateful for this platform. Thank you.
Delray, were you tagging? There's Sister Liesl and
I'm
Leanne.
going to tag Leanne.
Hi guys, food for thought today. Yeah, good to see you all in this process. I'm checking out with gratitude. And sorry, you were muffled there. Who's the last person who needs to check out after me?
There's still Liesl and Sister Tuma.
Liesl.
I am checking out with inspired, and I need to have more of these groups. Thank you. I'm checking out with I want more. I need more. Thank you so much. Sister, well, how do you say your name?
Sister Chuma. Oh, it's Sister Chuma. I'm checking out. Can you hear me? Yes. I'm checking out food with gratitude. Also, I'm excited because of, what happened in the container, and the professional coaching of David. I was getting a little bit emotional, but at the end of the David's coaching session, I felt happy for Dairy. So I'm filled with gratitude. Thank you.
Great stuff. All right, is that everyone? Okay. Be nice out there, people.
Bye, guys.
See you. Bye.
Bye.